All right, we have a 49ers update. They came out of this game against Jacksonville relatively clean from the injury standpoint. One reported injury from Kyle Shanahan right now during his day after conference call, and it is Colton McKivitz, the right tackle, who really struggled yesterday against the Jaguars. Shanahan said he got rolled up on his ankle. So, ankle and knee issue. McKivitz is classified as day today. But it does open up an interesting conversation because if McKivitz is unable to go Sunday against Tampa Bay, then the 49ers have a couple options at right tackle. The natural option for the 49ers is Matt Pryor, the veteran who they signed this offseason. You can take a look right now. I could even remove Trent Williams from an injury designation and add Colton McKivitz to it in real time. There you go. You see right here on the depth chart, Matt Pryor is next up. However, there is potential for somebody else to take that spot, and that somebody else is the player who is the 49ers' natural backup at left tackle. They don't have the standard swing tackle. They have a backup right tackle, Matt Pryor, and then they have the backup left tackle, Jalen Moore. And Jalen Moore, I asked Kyle Shanahan, he does have right tackle capability. If you'll remember, Jalen Moore was once ahead of Colton McKivitz on the 49ers depth chart. He even started at right tackle when Mike McGlinchey was hurt in 2021, and it was actually during a game against Jacksonville, at Jacksonville, where the 49ers won yesterday, where Jalen Moore was benched and Colton McKivitz usurped him on the depth chart. Moore allowed a quarterback hit. Jimmy Garoppolo got drilled and he threw a touchdown to Brandon Ayuk, and then we didn't see any of Jalen Moore after that. But Moore played really well in place of Trent Williams at left tackle over 2 games before the bye week. In fact, if you extrapolated his pass blocking efficiency, would have ranked number 5 in the NFL. So that made me think maybe Jalen Moore has made strides. Colton McKivitz has passed him on the depth chart before. Might Jalen Moore be in a position to make a move up the depth chart now? Well, the first step toward that would be having to show right tackle capability, because you're not going to usurp Trent Williams on the depth chart. So the right tackle capability supposedly is there for Jalen Moore. We're going to keep an eye on this because Colton McKivitz right now is day-to-day with an ankle and knee issue. He gave up 4 pressures yesterday. And, it's complicated with the 49ers offensive line. I can't say that he's been the weakest link because they've been pretty weak from center to right tackle in general. But yesterday, Kyle Shanahan was very happy with the interior offensive line, as he should have been. A clean sheet from Jake Brendel at center, a clean sheet for Spencer Burford at right guard, and John Feliciano, who was filling in for Aaron Banks at left guard, allowed only 1 pressure. Good grades across the board, though. So left guard, center, right guard were really good. And Shanahan today confirmed that the 49ers, before Aaron Banks got hurt at left guard, were actually planning to run John Feliciano in a platoon with Spencer Burford at right guard. Burford's been one of the below average performers for the 49ers at right guard. Shanahan emphasized, though, that the reason for this planned platoon was to reward John Feliciano, the veteran, for his excellent performance in practice. Well, there's even more of a reason now and an incentive to reward John Feliciano because he has performed so well in a game. So when Aaron Banks returns, expect the 49ers, assuming that there aren't any other injuries, to try to slot John Feliciano into right guard play with Spencer Burford. That's exactly what Daniel Brunskill, who's now with the Tennessee Titans, did last season. They would play a few series with Daniel Brunskill, a few series with Spencer Burford, and go back and forth. Bill Walsh, back in the 80s for the 49ers, would platoon offensive linemen like this. He believed in keeping offensive linemen fresh. In general, the league believes in platooning defensive linemen. You don't want to have one defensive end play 100% of the game snaps. The 49ers even sub Nick Bosa out. That's why they have a player like Randy Gregory. That's why they have Cleveland Farrell on this football team. But offensive linemen in the league, because of the cohesion that's needed at the position, that's what I suspect, it's not as much of a platoon spot. You see the 5 start and the 5 go through the whole game, injury permitting. However, if Bill Walsh did it, and Bill Walsh did it to Super Bowl success, and if Kyle Shanahan did it to some success last year with Spencer Burford and Daniel Brunskill, it's no surprise that he might be trying to do that again. My biggest question, though, is where does Jalen Moore slot in? Because he played good football over 2 games for the 49ers at left tackle. And now that the 49ers have this Colton McKivitz issue, well, that's something that the 49ers have to track because his ankle got rolled up on and he's dealing with ankle and knee issues has made him day to day this week. All right. Other news, Kyle Shanahan, he talked about the screen passes that the 49ers were giving up, too many of them over the course of the fourth drive in that game yesterday. There was a missed tackle from Fred Warner, followed by a missed tackle from Dre Greenlaw. I mentioned that the 49ers had I think 7 missed tackles in this game. So it went down from the 13 against Cincinnati, but still more than the 9 missed tackles that they had accrued over a 3-game stretch, so only 3 per game from weeks 3 to 5. The tackling has to be better, but Shanahan also pointed out that he thought the 49ers schematically with their alignments on the back end were giving up a little too much space to Jacksonville on the screens. And Shanahan knows that the 49ers are going to see a lot of screen passes because their pass rush is so dominant, especially with Nick Bosa on one side and Chase Young on the other. We talked about this so much back in 2019 when the 49ers at D4 to Nick Bosa. Teams started to try to screen them to death because that was the only way that you could try to beat the pass rush. So the 49ers are bracing for more screen passes. They have to do better against them than they did on that fourth drive against Jacksonville. I think the main key is better tackling, but Shanahan did say that there was a little too much space and the 49ers are going to try to eliminate that space. But at this point, right now, fresh in the aftermath of that win against Jacksonville, it's been about 24 hours since the 49ers trotted off that field, 34-3 victors. It's nitpicking. They held Jacksonville to 3 points, but I guarantee you they're going to see a lot of screen passes from opposing offenses, and Shanahan did address that today. He also talked about this, the quote of the conference call. Shanahan, I thought we came out of the bye week pissed. I thought so too. I mean, they came out and they just stomped Jacksonville's offense on that first drive. There was a whole lot of symbolism, I thought, with the 5-man front that the 49ers lined up with at the start. They were tired of being ranked number 26 in run defense. This is a point of pride for the 49ers defense. They finished number 1 in 2021, number 2 in 2022 in run defense, down to number 26 this year up until yesterday. Are you kidding me? So they lined up in a 5-man front to put a stop to that crap. They did put a stop to that crap. And I think a lot of it was because they came out pissed off. And that's what a 3-game losing streak should do to you. Especially if you think that you're a bona fide title contender and the 49ers are a tier 1 team. Tier 1 teams don't often lose 3 in a row. This 49ers team did, but they've also won 5 in a row and tacked on a win after that losing streak. So they're 10.5-point favorites with Tampa Bay coming to town and a short injury report. One more look at the 49ers depth chart. There you go. That has been the update. They were pissed off, and they're going to try to stay pissed off as we move forward. We'll talk to everybody soon.